Russia is the largest state in the world, and it extends from Europe to Asia. It can boast of a large number of resources such as oil, natural gas, coal, minerals, and wood, although the climate and the geography of the territory have impeded its extraction for many years. Moscow, the capital and the most populous city, as well as the main economic and financial center of the country, rises on the banks of the Moskva River. It is the headquarters of the government of the Russian Federation, located in the Kremlin, where the president resides. Other important cities are St. Petersburg and Ekaterinburg. St. Petersburg, Russia's second largest city in terms of size and population, it is also the country's most important port. It was founded by Tsar Peter the Great on the Neva Delta. It was for a long time the capital of the Russian Empire, and it is now considered the Russian cultural capital. Tsar Nicholas II renamed it Petrograd in 1914 and kept this name until 26 January 1924, when 5 days after Lenin's death it was called Leningrad until 6 September 1991. Ekaterinburg is located on the eastern side of the Urals, and it is the main industrial and cultural center of the region. The city is known all across the world because in the night between 16 and 17 July 1918, the last Tsar Nicholas II and his family were killed there. The Romanov dynasty is the second Russian imperial dynasty, ascended to the throne after extinction of the Yurikidi dynasty at the end of the 16th century. The beginning of the dynasty came with the marriage between Ivan the Terrible and Anastasia Romanov in 1547, and she was crowned Tsarina. Their marriage was very prosperous, but her death, premature and mysterious, 10 years later, made Ivan a worse man, considering the boyar guilty of having poisoned his wife. So it began a reign of terror. Among his sons, the first, Ivan, was killed by his father in a quarrel. The youngest, Fyodor, a pious prince and perhaps mentally weak, inherited the throne of his father. The death without children of the latter ended after 700 years the house of Rurik, and after long struggles was finally offered the crown to 16 years old Mikhail Romanov, whose rise to power ended the convulsive time of troubles and inaugurated the reign of the Romanov dynasty. Other sovereigns who have left their mark on the history of Russia are Peter I and Catherine II. The reign of Peter I, known as the Great, began in 1682, at the age of 10, in co-regency with his stepbrother Ivan V, who was mentally and physically ill and therefore unable to reign. When he died, Peter became the absolute sovereign until 1724, the year from which his wife Catherine I joined him in this role. Considered a Russian national hero, he appeared on 500 ruble banknotes, stamps, and monuments and literary works were dedicated to him. Peter I founded the great city of St. Petersburg in honor of St. Peter the Apostle in 1703, using the skills of the Swiss architect Domenico Trezzini of Astano, who first built the fortress with the cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul in the center, followed by many other important administrative and representative buildings. Catherine II of Russia, known as Catherine the Great, was Empress of Russia from 1762 until her death. She married at the age of 16 the heir of the throne of the Russian Empire, Peter III, and with a coup d'etat she eliminated him, becoming the absolute sovereign. Under her reign, the Russian Empire increased its power and experienced one of the periods of the greatest recognition at European level. Being an admirer of Peter the Great, Catherine continued to modernize Western Russia, and she took an interest in the problems of finance, education, founding the first institute of higher education for women in Europe, and the creation of new cities. However, the policy led to an increase in the number of glebe servants, resulting in popular discontent and the outbreak of numerous revolts. Despite these political dilemmas, the reign of Catherine the Great is considered the golden age of the Russian Empire. During the night of 16 and 17 July 1918, the last Tsar Nicholas II, his wife Alexandra, and their 5 children were executed in Ekaterinburg by the Bolsheviks, ending the 300 years of the Romanov dynasty at the head of the Russian Empire. Their remains were then thrown into a mass grave in the Urals. The bodies of Nicholas, Alexandra, and 3 of their sons, Anastasia, Olga, and Tatiana, were found in 1979, while the bodies of Zarevich Alexei and his sister Maria were found only in 2007. The family and servants who were killed with them were canonized in 1981 as martyrs by the Russian Orthodox Church. More than 100,000 Russians took part in the pilgrimage for the centenary of the death of the family, which took place on the night between 16 and 17 July 2018. It started from the today's Church of All Saints, where the imperial family was then murdered, until they reached Ganina Yama, a mine where their bodies were thrown away. Georgy Mikhailovich Romanov, the last of the dynasty, although born in Madrid, is still bound to Moscow. By now, his dynasty has been fully rehabilitated, and the Romanovs support Putin's policy. There is a great agreement between the two, and the hypothesis that in the future the monarchy may return is not excluded.